Hello and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Cleavage. So I got these great beef back ribs on sale and I'm going to try to make them. And I looked online how to do it. And I found a good recipe where you slow cook it in the oven on 275. So I'm going to start the oven on 275. Bake. Start. So we're going to get that started. And it says to use a dry rub. So I found one that I like. What did I do with my tablespoon? Oh, here it is. Okay. So it's 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I found a lot of different recipes for dry rub. But I kind of looked up one that I thought would be good, and I'm going to do this one. So 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. It's 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. I got smoked paprika. It doesn't have to be exact. The main thing is making sure that your sugar to salt ratio is okay. So that's 1. And that looks like 2, right? And then we're going to use half of a teaspoon of salt. So that's half a teaspoon. And we're going to use half of a teaspoon of, I like wet white pepper. The recipe calls for black pepper, but y'all know me. If you know me, you know I prefer white pepper. So I'm going to use white pepper. And it says if you want, use 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. So why not? I'm going to do a little 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. And then it's 1 teaspoon of, this looks like garlic powder. And 1 teaspoon of onion powder. That's your dry rub. And this was about the measurements that we needed for 4 pounds. I'm working with about 3 3/4 pound is what I figured this is here, I think, if I remember correctly. But it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that your ratio, like I said, of sugar to salt is accurate. So this was 3 tablespoons to half a teaspoon of salt. I also heard that there's 8. I heard the dry rub is usually 8-3-1-1, which means 8 parts sugar, brown sugar usually they use. This recipe called for brown sugar or coconut sugar, which is odd to me. I would think that would be odd. So also before you take, I took the ribs out of the packaging. I'm going to cover this since we're playing with the ribs. I'm going to put on some gloves because I'm now working with raw meat. And it says to make sure you pat the ribs dry before you put so you see there is some moisture left on there. I did pat it a little bit dry before I started this and let them sit for a little while. See how pretty those are? So we're going to actually, I'll start on this side. We're going to actually dry rub it. That looks pretty dry. Okay. So you just take the rub and you sprinkle it all over the rib. You can smell the smoked paprika. Turn them back over. The recipe that I read said to do this on a cutting board. It doesn't really matter. It's just so that you're doing it on a different surface than you're actually baking them on. Because you don't want all that seasoning to burn while it's cooking. Wouldn't you think that's why? I would think that's why. Okay, that means the oven's ready. We're almost there. I'm just going to pick up the bowl. And you want to press that in. Bone side up is actually how it asks in the recipe. So then I'm going to cover this with, I'm going to move this out of the way so I can turn this. What I remember, don't make it too tight, right? You just make the sides really tight so that it steams in its own juices. And the bone side up, from what I remember, it's so that all that fat will drip down into it and help make a moisture. Okay? So we're going to put this in the oven at 275. And then we're gonna cook it for 4 hours. There we go. Oh no, it's 4 minutes? How do you do 4 hours? Hello, so the ribs are almost ready. We have about 6 more minutes. So I thought I'd make a cocktail while we're waiting. It's called a Seel Bock, S-E-E-L-B-A-C-H. And I found it in a local restaurant, brought back after Prohibition, but it was originally made. And the recipes that I found online didn't have sour mix in it, but the one I tried in the restaurant here did. So that's the way I like it. I think it adds another element to it. So I'm gonna make it like that. It's whiskey, any kind of whiskey you like. I'm using Elijah Craig today. You use an ounce of that. And then you use half of an ounce of your favorite orange liqueur. Mine is a Grand Marnier. So I'm going to put half of an ounce of that. And then I was told, I think the person who taught me said to cut, she just covers the, just puts a bunch of, like that, of bitters. And then she just does a little shoot of the sour mix. And that's when I don't think she ever shakes it, but I like to shake fresh juice with liquor. And then just like a French 75, you add champagne. Some people put it in the glass first and top it with champagne. I think this helps mix it all together. And I'm just gonna, whoops. Perfect. That's what you call a drink right there. It's right to the top, right to the brim, as they say. The drink calls for, I think, an orange twist, but since I don't have any orange right now, I have lemon. I'm just going to cut a little piece of this off. What I did is I took the inside of a lemon, and I just took that inner membrane out. It's really easy to make lemon twists that way. And then you just put the rind, put it on the the back side on the glass to get those oils out, and then you twist it to kind of get the oils to release. Ta-da! Cheers. That's a good drink. I mean, I never thought of drinking bourbon or whiskey with champagne, but this is delicious. All right, let's see about those ribs. Woohoo! You know what that means? It's been that long, 4 hours. I'm going to turn off the oven because we're not going to use the oven anymore. And I'm going to take them out. Yum, yum, yum. You can actually see. Now, I touch aluminum foil. You might not want to do this because I'm used to taking things out of the oven. But aluminum foil doesn't keep the heat. It gets to the heat to same temperature, but it doesn't hold it for really long. Wow. 275 looks like it cooked them pretty good. Huh? Do we even need the barbecue pit? Okay. So we're going to actually put these on the barbecue pit. We're going to put 4 minutes on each side. And we'll be back. Okay, so what we did is we put them on the grill, one side, then you turn it over, you put barbecue sauce on it, then you turn that over. That side's hot, so you put barbecue sauce on there, and then you turn it over. It's about a few minutes each turn, and then you're just waiting for the barbecue sauce to like cook into it and be all sticky and gooey and stuff like that. So that's where we are now. That's the bones. I don't know, 275 might be too much, y'all. That's really good though. Really tasty. These back ribs is what I read online. They're spare ribs. So they don't have as much meat as the short ribs do, or any other ribs. So that's why it looks like this, but most of it was fat and it all just cooked in and sizzled in. It's really delicious. It might not look like it's tender, but it tastes tender. It's like you want it to kind of be like sticking on the ribs, stick on the ribs. That's good. So anyway, I'll see you later. Next time maybe we'll smoke them or actually cook them on a slower temperature. But here's to you. I'll see you in the next episode.